We're getting kind of close to undergrad research day. And of course, just as soon as I start asking her questions, the camera freezes. Watch this. But walk us through the whole scenario again. When is undergrad research day? And then let's talk about what have we done for COM, if anything, so far.
Right. So undergraduate research day is Wednesday, April 6th this year. So it will be, we will have student presentations on undergraduate research day, April 6th. April 7th, we are going to have speakers come visit at SNU. We might have one that's virtual, but they will be focused on areas that the case studies were focused on. So our theme this year was connecting the past to the present through research. And our case studies, the local one was the homelessness case study, homelessness in the Queen City. Our national Queen City had, our national case study had to do with community policing. And our global case study was pandemic, past, present, future. So we have speakers coming in to talk about each of those different areas on Thursday. And then Friday is our graduate and doctoral research conference day. So
okay, so I'm hearing 3 different days worth of events, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's April
6th,
7th, and 8th.
Yep.
Okay, so we can almost, should we be calling it undergrad research days rather than day?
So we are calling it Research Week.
Okay.
One actually really cool thing that we came up with the other day is we are going to start having t-shirts too that say Research Week 2022, Research Week, hopefully next year, 2023. So students can get a different t-shirt every year. And we're hoping that that will help with marketing and that students will see them and wear them. We're actually hoping to make stickers too, to give out to students that they can put on their computers and design some kind of cool logo. Yep.
Like stickers.
Yep. Design stickers too. So we're just trying to create an awareness about Research Week. And so I think they'll say Research Week and we'll give them to anyone who presents at Research Week this year. So
Okay, so I'm already seeing something I've been doing wrong about the client, in this case you, with my class. I've been calling it undergrad research day. It sounds like now we're just calling it research week without even necessarily the word undergrad in the title.
So we have 2 pieces to it. We have undergrad research day, which is where the undergraduate students present their work, but then it's part of research week.
Got it.
Which kind of encompasses the doctoral student conference, the undergraduate research conference, research day conference, and then the speakers that are coming to campus.
Okay, so where's your biggest need in terms of what we can do to help you? Is our main focus the whole thing, or is our main focus going to be that undergrad research day and maybe the speakers?
So I would say the speakers would be my biggest one to get people to go to the speakers. Proposals have already, the deadline for proposals is passed. So we already have students coming to present. We already have our student presentations submitted. So right now we're really trying to get students to go to those presentations.
Okay, so we want students to go see the other students present on Wednesday, April 6th. And then we want students to come see the outside presentations on Thursday, April 7th.
Yep, absolutely.
And those are all day long?
There are probably going to be 3 or 4 of them that are going to be throughout the day.
Okay.
But on the 7th for the speakers and April 6th, they'll be all day long.
Okay.
April 6th.
Library in both cases?
Library. It will be the library for the undergraduate research day sessions on April 6th. And I'm not sure where we're going to have the speakers on the 7th yet. It's going to probably be different locations.
Okay, how soon do you think you could have a definite location for the outside speakers and maybe a list of who's coming and what their topics are? That would help the communication a lot.
by Friday.
Okay, so that'll be good because I probably won't even be showing this video to my class until Monday, the 28th.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's perfect.
it's probably Monday the 28th right now as they're sitting here in class watching me.
Happy February 28th.
Yeah, which means, what does that make tomorrow?
March 1st.
March 1st. And probably more important for you guys watching from home on the screen, that means a week from today, you're on spring break. So we need to move kind of quickly, guys. This is not really unusual from what would happen in a real PR scenario. You might be having a vacation come up, or there might be a holiday weekend, and now you've got a client that needed something yesterday. So not an unusual situation in this field. So Colleen, if you can get us, hopefully by the time I'm airing this video, I've got that list of who the speakers are and where they're going to be, so that I can share it with my class after the video ends. What do you think your biggest needs are? I mean, do you need to get word out on campus? Did you need any local media outreach? Give me some goals.
So I believe on campus, we're also going to be live streaming the speakers. So that could even be outreach, like outside of campus too.
Okay. So if that's going to happen, what would be super helpful for our communication effort is if we had a link for that live streaming in advance, we could incorporate that link into any of our communication vehicles that we create.
Yep, absolutely.
So, for my students, as you're watching this, you're seeing how a press release or other media outreach could come together. We need some real basic information. As we start learning how to write press releases with the inverted pyramid, you're going to hear about the who, what, when, where, why, and how. And those are the pieces of information that we're going to need Colleen to be able to provide for us, so that we can now start writing that up in a way that attracts our target audience and getting them interested in the events. Who's your primary audience for this? Are we looking for students? Are we looking for faculty to bring classes into these events? Or do we need to incentivize things with extra credit? How do you envision this working?
So for undergraduate research day, I would say I would love to get students and faculty there. I would like faculty to bring their students to undergraduate research day to see these students work, because they work so hard on it. But I would love to see students present and come to see the speakers present too.
Okay, and we've already got the student presenters lined up. We know who they're going to be and what they're talking about. Is that information that you can share already with me and my class, so that we can maybe even work some of that into our communication efforts?
So that schedule is in flux. That we have a scheduling meeting for that on, I think, Tuesday next week.
Okay.
To try and start piecing that schedule together, but we're still working on that. So.
All right, so it sounds like a lot of what we're going to get is going to kind of be last minute and pretty close to deadline. Here's a plan of action. And guys, again, as you're watching this on the video, sometimes this is the way it really happens when you're meeting with a client. You've got to come to a meeting of the minds. So I'm thinking I'm first going to start my students on learning how to write press releases probably next week. And in all honesty, they're going out on spring break. They're going to be on vacation. I don't expect them to work at all during the break.
No.
And I also don't know how realistic it is for me to expect them to remember exactly what we learned right before break.
Right.
So I'm thinking, as I teach them a little bit about press releases, maybe we use this one as the sample. I may start writing this release for you, but with the students watching me do it, so we can interact and talk about it, and they can see how our release comes together. That way, I can still finish this release for you during spring break week. It's really not going to be a whole lot of time on my end. That way, as soon as we get back from spring break, we can distribute it to the regular channels here on campus, and that still gets the release out a week before, or almost 2 weeks before the actual undergrad research day. That would get the release out, let's say, somewhere during that week of March 14th. which is still 2-3 weeks before the actual event.
Yeah. Yep.
That's enough time for it to at least produce a little bit of results and reach the desired audience.
Yeah.
It still trains my students on how to do a press release. And then for the music client that they have, they will have seen this put into action so that we can put more of the heavy lifting on them for that client. Does that work for you?
That's perfect. Yeah.
Okay. So that's what we're going to do. So again, let's make sure we've got our deliverables lined up for everybody. You're going to get us the list of the outside speakers and their topics. If you can get us a list of who the student presenters and their topics are, even if we don't have an exact schedule, that's okay, because we still know what day it's going to be. So that still gives me some detail to work into the press release.
Yeah.
The big thing for us is also making sure we have times and locations just for the overall event. You know, it doesn't have to be speaker one at 1 o'clock, but we just need to know the speakers are going to be in the library on the second floor, or, you know, the more, the closer we can get the details, the more accurate we can be in our press release, and accuracy is crucial.
Yeah, let me get a piece of paper too, because I want to make sure I get this written in I have 2 notebooks that I keep stuff in, and I want to make sure this gets into my notebook that is like my die-hard notebook that I don't ever leave anywhere. Hold on. Sorry. Now,
so
this is like a real meeting, guys.
It is. It really is. That's what I was going to point out to my
hold on.
What you're seeing right now is, you know, you and the client both need to agree on what your responsibilities are and what your timetable is. And then you need to sort of put up a checklist just to make sure that you both understand exactly what you can expect from each other and when. And then it's all about deadlines, because, you know, one miss on the deadline throws the whole trajectory way off.
So I'm going to get you the schedule of the speakers and the locations.
And their topics.
And topics. I should have that very, very soon to you, within the next day or two. I'm still waiting on a few faculty members to follow up and tell me confirmations. And then I'm going to get you the list of students presenting. Right. The tricky part with that is faculty are still going through and accepting proposals, because the deadline was just Friday.
That's fine.
So we can get that to you. But I think the big thing is to just know that those are when the presentations are happening, April 6th.
So here's a thought. You're going to have way too many students presenting for me to be able to put them all into the press. So give me some of the ones that you know are already accepted and that are definite. And then when we could list them in the release, we could say student topics include, and then we'll have a couple of those in there as examples. And that should do the trick. You know, we eventually will say for more information, and then we can put a link to something online that has a whole schedule as it develops.
All right, awesome. Yeah, and we have the Undergraduate Research Day webpage and the LibGuides.
So make sure you send me a link to that also.
Yeah.
You know, the key to any information, particularly with things where there are links, the easier you make it for your audience to find them, the more likely they will click on it and do whatever it is you're trying to convince them to do.
Yeah.
Anything else we should know about Undergrad Research Week or anything else that's going on?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, so we will try to get this all over campus. I can definitely, as the release is done, I can send that out to all the different on-campus newsletters that go to faculty. I can try to see if we can send something out to the Penman Press. Hopefully one of my co-editors of the Penman Press is sitting right in the front row watching this video right now, Stefan, and hopefully that'll get a little bit of interest from the newspaper also. So, you know, I think we're in good shape. You know, this isn't a perfect scenario. In a real world scenario, all of us would be sitting in the same room with you and we'd start working, but you know, this is the realities of PR today.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for working with us, Colleen, and we will be in touch soon.
Awesome.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.